r/NoSleep. Posted by u/the_nether_scavenger. I got stuck in the back rooms. Here's how it went. At this point, there aren't very many people who don't know about the back rooms. There aren't many people who have seen it, or at least people who have lived to tell the tale. I'm thankful to this day that I'm not on that list. A few days ago, I escaped the famous pocket dimension, and this is my story. It was the typical Monday at Middleton High. A bunch of teenagers just trying to stay awake from staying up all night, myself included. At about 8:35, a few minutes into first period, I was on the verge of falling asleep. Just as I dropped my head for sleep, about to hit it on the desk, I didn't make impact. No, I didn't even feel the desk. The world around me had disappeared, and was now replaced with a dimly lit hallway. The walls were lined with yellow wallpaper, and there was a lingering smell of dank, moist carpet. What was this place? How did I end up here? I looked around in confusion, still ignorant to my damnation. Confusion turned to fear, and fear to terror. I cried out for a reply, a noise, something, anything at all. After what felt like hours of this, I realized it was no use. I wandered the empty hall for about 5 minutes, before finding something. A small book, what looked like a diary. The writing was a bit sloppy, but still legible. The first few pages seemed to be filled with something similar to a journal. It read as follows. Welcome to the Backrooms. Chances are you just clipped out of reality, and ended up in a labyrinth of yellow wallpaper and moist carpet, shrouded in the buzzing of fluorescent lights. If you found this book, it's a tool to help you get to a different level. You can find mold in the wallpapers that should be edible. As for water, you can find bottled almond water lying around level 0, your current level. If you walk around long enough, you'll find stairs to another level. The chances of survival are slim for you, but if you ever want to get back to your reality, you'll need to. I didn't want to believe any of this, I just couldn't. Just then, I heard a crash near me. I ran toward the sound, hoping it was something useful. Laying on the floor was my friend, Johnny. When his eyes opened, he looked confused, more than I was. Johnny then stood up, seemingly dizzy. Jack? What's going on? What is this place? I helped him balance, handing him the book as I did. Here, read this, you'll understand in a bit, I said, trying to console him. As he read, I grabbed the wallpaper, peeling it off as the book said. Sitting on the wall was a clump of something. It looked like the mold the book mentioned, so I took the risk and popped it in my mouth, trying not to taste it. It actually didn't taste half bad. For mold, that is. Johnny had finished reading as I handed him a clump of the stuff, beckoning him to eat the stuff. As he finished, we walked until finding the occasional almond bottle, then racing deeper into the labyrinth, seeking the exit. After about 2 days, we found a set of stairs. The book mentioned this, so it was a relief. We opened the door, walking into something entirely new. It looked like a parking garage. I flipped through the pages, trying to find something about this place, but nothing. In fact, the rest of the pages were blank. After flipping for ages, I found a page. What really shook me was the one sentence written on it. Pray to heaven if you hear something, because it sure as hell heard yo. The sentence ended there, left with half of a U, followed by a panicked scribble. Whoever left this book for us can't have escaped level 0, or did, just to be killed at the beginning of level 1. I didn't tell Johnny, knowing he'd just panic more. Neither of us chose to be here, and neither of us could choose to leave. We were trapped here for a while, but maybe if we ran around long enough, we could find other people, maybe even a colony. Who knows how many people are here? Level 1 wasn't as ambient as level 0, but the silence spoke volume to Johnny and I. The room was like your typical multi-floor parking garage that you'd see in a big city. The floors, walls, ceiling, everything was made with concrete, or some rocky material. After descending about 20 floors, we decided to stop and rest. As we did, we took out the surplus of almond water and mold we collected from level 0, and refueled ourselves before setting out another few floor. After this, we found a door to the next level. We took this as a blessing, but it later turned to be a recipe for disaster. Laying on the floor next the entrance, were 2 pocket flashlights and a small pouch of Energizer batteries. As I looked into the narrow hall, there were few lights, unlike the last 2 levels, adding a challenge to the already stupidly long list. Johnny and I swallowed our fear, and walked into the halls of level 2. Something kept nagging my mind every few minutes. What happened to the author of the journal? Why did just leave behind the journal with an unfinished sentence about hearing things? Is there something else here? Just as the thought of other things in here with us, I heard something that still rocks me to my core. The sound of footsteps in shallow water that was in the hallway we just got through. Johnny and I turned to face something that we didn't expect to see. Another survivor. "Who are you? How'd you get here?" Johnny asked. The girl muttered something we couldn't hear. We asked her to speak up, and that she was speaking too quietly. "I ended up here 5 days ago, I'm looking for a way out," she said slightly louder. Her voice sounded strange. Almost like she was something else trying to mimic a human. I just played it off as being panicked and scared. She joined us on the trek to level 3, apparently trying to get to a place outside the levels, named the Hub. Apparently, it's a long subway station filled with factions of survivors trying to recruit survivors to civilize the Backrooms. Apparently, the girl was a member of a faction in level 7, going against a cult that worshipped an entity on the level. As we walked, Johnny split off from the group, saying he heard something. The girl decided to follow him. I waited there, hearing a scream and then silence. I aimed my light in the hallway, looking for the girl or Johnny, but neither appeared. After 5 minutes of searching, I still couldn't hear Johnny or the girl. I wandered level 2, looking for them, only finding more pipes and small canine creatures. On my 2-week journey through this level, I only had to run away from one. It didn't seem too intelligent, so escaping it through a few twists and turns was easy. 2 days after said encounter, I found a familiar friend. It was the girl, standing over a sleeping Johnny. I was overjoyed to see them both, but that joy soon turned to terror. The girl's face opened to reveal a tall, snow-white creature. The girl's skin fell off the creature like a Halloween costume, revealing its terrifying true form. It then picked up Johnny's body, tearing the skin from the bone, and putting it on as a costume, as to deceive other survivors. I ducked behind the corner between me and the creature, not wanting to be seen. I wanted to cry, I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. If that thing heard me, it would rip me to shreds as it did Johnny. The creature then walked off, trying to mimic Johnny's cry, as to lure me out. I slowly followed the creature, finding the exit on another hallway. As I opened the door, I heard the creature sprinting down the corridor trying to get to me before I left the level. I jumped into the door of level 3, slamming and locking the door behind me, leaving a bellowing Johnny imposter behind me. If that creature's words had any truth, there were places here beyond the levels. I had to make the journey to the Hub, and maybe someone there could tell me how to get home, if there is one, and if not, maybe a place to settle down for the rest of my life here? Level 3 had lights like levels 0 and 1, but it wasn't as open. Level 3 was nothing but seemingly endless hallways, dimly lit, and very closed in. My journey there was very uneventful, until one specific section. While I was running through the halls collecting supplies, I found a part of the wall that looked darker than the rest of it. Curiously, I touched the dark piece of the wall, and was then dragged through it, ending up level 4. I was surprised to see a large group of people in the room that looked like a cubicle office. The room was filled with piles of supplies and food, all necessary for levels prior and what I can assume are for the later levels. There were 2 doors on one end of the room, labeled level 5 and Hub. I walked through the door to the Hub, with hope of finding a way home, or a way to survive this hellscape I've been trapped in for the past few weeks.